Hello, everyone. Welcome, dear students, to today's special podcast session Roadmap for Acing SSCE Examination, your ultimate guide to staying calm, confident, and prepared for your board exams. We know that exams can feel overwhelming, but don't worry, you are not alone. In this episode, we will share practical study tips, time management strategies, and ways to beat exam stress. So take a deep breath and let us dive into the best way to ace your exam with clear mind and a focused approach. Let's get started. Success is the sum of small efforts repeated day in and day out. I'm your host Aparna Vibhute, and here we have a truly special guest with us, Miss Vikranti Ashtikar, Head of Computer Science Department at Delhi Public School, Bangalore East. With more than a decade of experience as an educator, she will share expert tips on exam preparation, stress management, and staying motivated. Get ready for some valuable insights. Welcome, ma'am. To begin with, ma'am, children are preparing for computer science exam. To help them, can you tell us the exam pattern for CS board exam?
Thank you, Aparna ma'am. Hello to everyone, dear parents and students. Hope you all have written your other subject exams very well. CS is your last exam and you have a long preparation time for it. Dear students, computer science is a scoring subject, and with a bit of hard work, you'll be able to definitely score very well. Coming to the pattern of the board exam, the question paper contains 37 questions. All questions are compulsory. However, internal choices have been provided in some questions. Attempt only one of the choices in such questions. The paper is divided into 5 sections: A, B, C, D, and E. Section A consists of 21 questions of 1 mark each. Section B consists of 7 questions of 2 marks each. Section C consists of 3 questions of 3 marks each. Section D is a 4-marker question. There are 4 questions in this section. Section E has two questions, each of which is of 5 mark. It is a case-based question. All the questions have to be answered in the Python language only. Now, coming to the distribution of marks, entire Python programs is for 40 marks. Computer networks has 10 marks in all, and SQL, database management questions, are of 20 marks. So totally it is of 70 marks. I'm sure students, with a little bit of presence of mind and an eye to detail, you'll be able to come out with flying colors.
Thank you, ma'am, for your guidance on the pattern of the exam. I'm sure this is very helpful. Moving on, ma'am, children need to complete a set number of questions within 3 hours. Could you throw some light on how to manage their time effectively?
Yes, managing time effectively in a computer science exam is crucial, as it is often a mix of theoretical questions, programming-based questions, and logic-based reasoning questions. Children, do best use of your 15 minutes of reading time that you get. Identify easy and high-scoring questions. Decide the order in which you will attempt them. Also decide on the internal choice questions you would like to attempt. Make a choice based on your confidence in the topic. The type of questions generally which come are the true or false, multiple choice questions, fill in the blanks, assertion and reasoning, differentiate between two entities, program output, write the full forms, writing the program code for Python, writing SQL queries, or writing the output of the SQL queries. There will be some case-based questions also. Section A, which is a 1-marker question, you can plan to complete in 30 minutes. Section B, which is a 2-marker question, allot 4 minutes per question, so roughly about 30 minutes. Section C has a 3-marker question, and it is a writing of the code section. So children, if you're not very confident of it, you can attempt it at the last, because it may take time for you to think and write about the code. Okay, so roughly if you plan for 6 minutes per question, it will take about 20 minutes for this particular section. Section D, which is a 4 marker, allot around 8 minutes for each question. So roughly 30 minutes to complete section D. Section E is a case-based question. So you will have to read the case, understand the case, and then accordingly write the 5 questions which are given under it. So roughly 8 minutes per question would be sufficiently. So totally 15 minutes will be for this particular section. So you'll be left out with complete 15 minutes to revise for your answer sheet. Do attempt all the questions as partial marking is there in CBSE. Do not leave any question unattempted, children.
Time management is such a valuable skill, and it's great that your guidance will help them to complete their paper effectively. As you know, ma'am, computer science paper contains more of competency and case-based questions. Could you provide some guidelines on how to approach these questions?
Yes, sure, ma'am. Case-based questions can sometimes feel challenging, but with the right approach, they become much more manageable. The two case-based questions that would come, one from networking and one from interface Python with MySQL. That is the connectivity code. Students, do keep this in mind for the tips for attempting the networking question. One question they would ask on what is the layout for the network. Okay. So always, whenever this question comes, draw the block diagram to show the interconnecting blocks. They would give you some number of blocks. You would have to draw the diagram. Prefer to draw all the diagrams either in the bus topology or in the star topology. Okay. So this is about how you will draw the diagram. If you get confused between the two, please draw both the diagrams. Now coming to the placement of the server. This is generally one of the questions which is asked. So the blind rule is that wherever there are maximum number of computers, that will be the placement for the server. Okay, so there is nothing more to think about it. Wherever you see the maximum number of computers, that is the place for the server to be kept. Okay, now coming to next kind of question, that which kind of communication or which LAN connection will be more effective. So when they ask about the high speed, okay, then you should go with optical fiber. Okay, but if they will say that it is if we do not want it very high speed, we want a very economical one, then you can write the Ethernet or coaxial cable. Okay. Now, communication media, if you talk about in hill stations and other places where it's hilly area, then radio wave and microwave are the best suitable for these things. Even if it is a desert, then you can go with radio wave only. Next, if at all if they're asking for what kind of communication is fastest, then you go with optical fiber. And if it is wireless, okay, then you have to go with the satellite signals. Okay. Now the next thing is, if you want to prevent, if the question comes on how do you prevent unauthorized access, then you will have to make use of the firewall. So you have to use firewall. Then lastly, where do we place the repeater will be one of the questions. Okay. So now wherever the distance between the blocks is more than 80 meters, then the repeater is required so that the signal strength is not reduced. Okay. So wherever the distance is more than 80, put a repeater. If they ask you where do you have to put a switch repeater and you are not able to access it, for the better understanding, you just say in all the blocks it will be required. Okay, because the question is always suggest. So anything which you suggest, we will be giving you the marks. Partial marks are always given. So please don't leave anything unattempted.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Your expertise has truly been eye-opening, and I'm sure our students will definitely benefit from it. Moving ahead, ma'am, as we know, we have Python, SQL, and networks in the CS exam. Could you throw light on the chapter-wise weightage for the exam as the students can prepare accordingly?
Sure. Students, listen carefully to what I want to share, the subject-wise breakage of marks. Okay. From the Python, you have revision tool 1 and 2. Revision tool 1 and 2 is the content that we have studied in grade 11. Okay. So total number of questions from it are 14 and total marks allotted to this particular chapter is 21. So you will have 1 marker, 2 marker questions coming in from this chapter. Functions, the second chapter functions, which is from Python. Total number of questions which will come will be 3 markers. Mostly the output kind of questions come from this particular topic. Okay. The total marks allotted are 5. Now, file handling, that is a third chapter in Python. That has a major weightage in Python. Okay. So there are 4 questions coming in from this particular topic. So we will have one to write the code for binary files. We'll have to write the code for text files as well as CSV files. Okay. So the total coverage is 11 marks. Next, coming to the stack program, the stack question. There'll be only one question. You have to write the code for a stack, which is a 3-marker question. That's the only thing. And you will have one exception handling question, which is having only 2 marks weightage. Okay, so maybe 2 1-markers would come from exception handling. Next, coming to our SQL. SQL, from the SQL chapters, entire SQL chapters, you have 9 questions coming and total weightage is 16. So here you will have to write the queries or the output of the queries. Okay, coming to the computer networks, you have 10 marks allotted to it. One 5-marker case-based question will be compulsory. Apart from it, one 2-marker question in which, they will be asking you the full forms or something like this. And 2 1-marker questions will be coming. So total questions, 5. Okay. Next, coming to Python MySQL connectivity. Okay, so from the connectivity code, one 4-marker question is compulsory. Okay, so you'll be 4 marks allotted to this. So total questions are 37 and total marks 70. So you have 3 hours of writing time. So please children prepare well to solve these kind of similar questions. Do solve sample question papers of the CPSE. They'll be very helpful.
Thank you for that insight, ma'am. I'm sure the listeners are walking away with some great ideas and inspiration to score better in the upcoming exam. Lastly, can you tell us some common mistakes students do and how to avoid them while attempting the paper?
Students, always remember while writing the Python code, use proper syntax while writing the Python code. Keep the indentation in mind. Write comments to make your code understandable. Avoid writing complicated code. Even if you don't know the code in file handling, partial marks are given for opening and closing of files. Write the open function correctly while mentioning the file mode. Secondly, import the correct module. Marks are given for the import statement. If user-defined function is asked, do write the function header correctly. Note the keywords, variable names are all case sensitive. While attempting the output questions in Python, ensure you are showing the working of it. Okay. And if you get too much stuck while attempting for debugging finding the output questions, leave some space and go ahead. Do not waste much time in finding the output. Next, for finding out the errors, okay, generally it will be coming for a 2 marks question. There'll be 4 errors of half mark each. Okay, please underline the wrongly written code and then rewrite the correct code. By writing the SQL queries, use the table names and the column names as given in the question. Write the syntax correctly. Ensure you put a semicolon at the end of the query that you have written. Okay. And then ensure you maintain a good handwriting. Okay. And then for writing the output of the queries, okay, please make a box like you have been seeing in your output questions. As you see in your SQL, the way that you are getting the output, please write in the same format. Okay. Put some effort to write the output correctly. Okay. Lastly, wherever there are MCQ questions, along with the option, please write the text related to it also. Okay, just do not write the option like A, B, C, D. You need to write the answer for it. Remember, students, success isn't about just studying harder. It's about studying smarter. Stay positive, take care of your health, and trust in your preparation. Wishing you all the very best. You will rock it. Until next time, stay focused and keep learning.
Thank you so much, ma'am. And that brings us to the end of today's episode. We hope these strategies and insights have given you the confidence to manage your time effectively, stay focused, and approach your board exam with a clear mind. A big thank you, Vikranti ma'am, for sharing such a valuable advice.
Thank you, Aparna ma'am. I would also like to take this opportunity to thank our management, our principal, Dr. Manila Carvalho, our vice principal, Preeti Sutta ma'am, for giving us this opportunity. This initiative has helped us to connect with our students and given them the much needed moral support as they prepare for the board exam. Thank you all once again.